what I always like to tell people is you're putting all this thought, all this heart into building something. Let's do it correct from the get-go. Let's go out and build it that it's going to have the opportunity to grow, that if something bad does happen, everything you've built all at once is not at risk. We can compartmentalize risk in a way that, hey, there's no guarantee. We live in a litigious society.
Welcome to the Real Estate Pros Show, where we interview real estate investing professionals from coast to coast, as well as the service providers that serve the real estate investing industry. Our goal is simple: share what's working now to help you improve and scale your business to the next level and meet the pros that can help you get there. Real Estate Pros is powered by Investor Fuel, America's leader in helping real estate investors and professionals build the business you need to live the life you've always dreamed of. Let's start today's show. Property insurance for real estate investors doesn't have to be difficult, but it does need to be there to protect you when you need it. MyInvestorInsurance.com not only provides insurance at 15 to 30% cheaper than traditional agencies, it's built specifically for real estate investors like you. You can set up an account in about 2 minutes, get quotes on properties, turn on and turn off insurance for your fix and flip or rental properties in around 2 minutes without having to talk to anyone directly, all through our portal. There's no better way or faster way to make sure you've got the coverage you need to protect you, and no more lengthy policies either. Once you're set up, you're billed monthly and prorated by the day for however long your policy is active. It's powered by MSI, the third largest independent MGA, with 1.5 million customers and more than $1 billion in cumulative premiums written. Get set up today in about 2 minutes at myinvestorinsurance.com/fuel.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Real Estate Pros podcast. I'm your host, Michelle Kessel, and today I'm joined by someone I'm looking forward to chatting with, Matt Meredith, who is a lawyer working with real estate investors, helping them create their structure and operation companies. So excited to have you here today, Matt.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Of course. So let's dive in. First off, for those not familiar with you and your work yet, can you share what your main focus is?
Definitely. We do a lot at the Meridian Legal Advisors, but one of the things that we work with very closely are real estate investors. And in this matter, what we do is we build out structure for them. We focus on anonymity, asset protection, tax strategy, so that as they grow, they have somebody trusted that they can call and add to their overall portfolio, make sure things are protected, make sure they're not paying tons and tons of taxes when they can be making savings. And so our whole focus is to help real estate investors not have to worry about the things that they don't want to worry about and let them focus on growing a portfolio.
Yeah, amazing. And which markets do you operate in?
So we can set structure up in most states. I am in Texas though. And so with Texas, if you come to me, we can do a lot more because that's where I'm licensed to practice. But we do have attorneys in other states that we can help out with. One of the things that when it comes to tax strategy, stuff like that, we can do that pretty much in 50 states. That's federal. And so anybody who needs help with tax strategy, tax planning, anywhere for real estate structure and in-depth real estate structure, pretty much Texas.
Awesome. And so what does the process look like when an investor reaches out to you?
So normally at that point, we're going to have a long conversation. It's let me understand what you're doing, what you're wanting to do. What do you have now? How are you protecting yourself now? I always start with a simple question. If somebody falls through the roof and turns around and sues you, what's at risk? And it's the little things we don't think about. Of course, we're going to go get insurance. We're going to try to protect our assets from these type of liabilities, but what if there's spillover? And so we're going to discuss that. And then it's really kind of a breakdown of what is your goal and what are we trying to achieve? There's so many options when you get into this type of law on how can we protect you? How do we help you grow? That you really just start somewhere in the corner and you start expanding yourself out from that point.
Stop living on an island and join the #1 mastermind in America for professional real estate investors. Investor Fuel is a community of hundreds of the nation's top investors working together to build stronger businesses and better lives. In addition to the amazing community of real estate investors acting as a board of advisors for one another, Investor Fuel members have access to 100% funding on purchase and repairs for our members only, a health insurance program, and benefits and discounts that more than pays for the membership of most of our members, meaning it's actually costing you money to not be a member of Investor Fuel. If you're looking to scale your business and build a business that allows you to live the life of your dreams, please visit investorfuel.com today and book a call with our team.
So you can really see what's going on. And then once the facts are known, we'll turn around and we'll start building out the process. In the meantime, we're going to talk with the CPAs and the tax attorneys and make sure, hey, is everything working out properly for you? Are there ways that we can adjust some things to save you some money over the course of time? And then it really just becomes, once the structure is set up, a lot of times we'll do kind of subscriptions where, hey, come back with questions. Don't worry about every time I have a question, I'm going to have to pay this hourly fee. No, we set up an easy subscription so you can call, you can email, you can ask your questions, you can ask tax questions. And so it's this ongoing process of let's stay in touch and make sure you're being taken care of. And then from there, it really just becomes helping you grow as you go out and find properties or find assets that you're wanting to do. It becomes, hey, let's do a cost segregation on something like this. And hey, Matt, let's go ahead and I'm going to purchase this property. How does it fit in? Can you build it out so that this property will come into my structure with no problem? And that's really becomes more ongoing. The upfront part is always the boring, let's build some businesses. Let's separate operations from the actual holdings and the portfolio itself. Figure out the taxes. Nobody likes doing that. And then it becomes ongoing maintenance and support.
Yeah, amazing. And so what are some of the common obstacles you see investors navigate that you help them overcome?
A lot of the things I see is the eggs in one basket, or even worse, they're not really in a basket, they're just in your name. And so the typical example I use is I know a real estate person who owns 7 properties all in their name. There was a lawsuit. All of these properties are disadvantaged at this point. If this judgment comes through, now there's a lot more assets in the person's name versus had you done it in proper structure. And so that's the main thing. Set up the proper entity to protect yourself. Another thing I see very common is when people don't separate the assets from the actual operations. So a lot of people, they will properly go out and create an LLC type holding company for their products, for their portfolio, but they also operate in that same LLC or that same entity. And so what happens is you're not separating the operations, which are really the risky side of it. So if there's a dispute between a renter or a contractor, somebody working on the roof, we want that to go to the operating company. We don't want those assets sitting in the operating company because, again, kind of like if it's in your personal name, everything in that entity has risk of being targeted. So separating the operations from the assets themselves and then using that operations company to create the contracts, to work with vendors, to do the leasehold agreements. And so that company takes really all the risk, and there's not much privy of contract with the asset holding company. So if there are lawsuits, typically they're going to the operating company, which in most cases, you're not keeping a lot of cash in there. You're keeping expense maintenance in there. and money comes out of it and goes into a different type of company at that point to protect it. And so what often happens is somebody will sue the operating company, and that's when the attorneys get involved and say, hey, look, there's not much money in here. And, if my client has to file bankruptcy, he'll file bankruptcy. But let's be honest, all that money's going to go to the bankruptcy attorney. So why don't we just settle instead? And worst case scenario, then you do file for bankruptcy and move on from there.
If you're looking for consistent, high-quality leads, look no further than Investor Machine. Investor Machine isn't just another agency. It's the most sophisticated, data-driven lead generation company on the planet for real estate investors, and serves the role of being not just a lead generator for your business, but a marketing partner that is helping you achieve your goals along the way. Go to investormachine.com to learn more and schedule a call with our team today.
Yeah, absolutely. I can see how that would keep a lot of people protected.
Mhm. As they say, you don't sue poor people. So-
Yeah, definitely. And so once you get people set up and organized, what does the follow through look like?
So I'm a very active type of attorney. I like staying in touch with my clients, previous clients. And for clients who are constantly building a larger portfolio, adding to things, or they're doing tax strategy, it's not really a one-time relationship. There's an ongoing relationship. There's a lot of questions that come up as the person grows and they start having new concerns. And so then it becomes, hey, Matt, how should I handle this situation? Can we take a look at it? Can we decide a path to take so that I don't have to worry about it? Or typically it's, hey, Matt, take care of my taxes. It's that time of the year. Things like that. Tax strategy in itself is not something you do one time. Every year you're looking for new type of syndications, oil and gas depreciations, short-term rentals, all these different types of things that are going to save you a lot of money over the course of the year. So that way you pay less in taxes overall. So there's constantly communication going back and forth between myself and the clients. It's a long-term relationship. There are those type of relationships where, hey, I have one house. Take it out of my name. My son's going to live in it while they go to college. I don't want there to be a lot of risk that comes back to me if something happens. And those are pretty common, but we like to really work with the real estate investors who are trying to grow a large portfolio.
Yeah, absolutely. What are some tax strategies that maybe someone doesn't know or hasn't, isn't as common that you help people understand?
So real estate investors really have great opportunity to save money. If you're an active participant, you can deduct your costs, expenses against your actual income from other sources. If you're not an active participant, a lot of times there are loopholes that we like to call them. So the short-term rental loophole, other types of depreciation type plays are out there. And so not just sticking to real estate, you can do oil and gas type syndications. These are like limited partnerships where in the first year you're a general partner and you can take the deductions and the losses off of the depreciation. There are also simple things that we'll do. Let's analyze what you're currently doing. A lot of people may have a W-2 type job where, hey, we can increase amount of money going to these retirement accounts. We can take money off of your AGI so that you're paying less in taxes overall. So it really just depends on what the client is willing to do, what they feel comfortable with. But for real estate, if they're in real estate, they pretty much probably already understand that, hey, I can have a lot of losses every year. And so those are the type of people who we can really utilize our services for and help out a good bit more.
Yeah, amazing. And so what advice would you give to a real estate investor that's maybe earlier on in their journey?
I think the biggest advice is don't have overconfidence. And I don't mean overconfidence in the term that, hey, I'm not going to be successful with this. I mean it in the smaller things we don't always think about. People sue in this country. It's a very common thing. It's not like these other countries I've gone to where you can get hit by a car, you can shake hands, the guy dusts you off, and you just walk away.
If you're a new or newer real estate investor looking to launch or grow your real estate investing business, please check out Investor Fuel Club. It's a coaching community, but unlike anything you've ever seen before. And you can actually partner with members of our mastermind from coast to coast on deals right in your market. There's no better opportunity to build a consistent business than to literally partner with pros to help you avoid costly mistakes, avoid the need for capital to do deals, and help you eliminate your fears as you're starting your business. Learn more about Investor Fuel Club at investorfuel.com/club.
Here, it's a business. And so you need to plan going into that. How do I protect myself? What I always like to tell people is you're putting all this thought, all this heart into building something. Let's do it correct from the get-go. Let's go out and build it that it's going to have the opportunity to grow, that if something bad does happen, everything you've built all at once is not at risk. We can compartmentalize risk in a way that, hey, there's no guarantee. We live in a litigious society. If you haven't been sued, it's probably going to come at some point. So let's not worry about that aspect. Let's more protect ourselves from the risk going forward. And then it's one of the other things I see so often is don't be lazy about it. Yeah, we question ourselves when we're starting something like, do I really want to put all this work into getting it started, or should I just go out there and do it? For me, what I see most often is years go by before something is really taken a look at. And it usually happens when a complaint or a lawsuit is coming through. And by that point, it's too late to do anything. When people come to me, hey, I'm being sued, all of my houses are in my own name, what am I going to do? It's normally, I can't help you at this point. Let's see if we can settle and then we can build something up going forward. So if you're going to do it, I always tell people, do it right from the get-go. Keep those sleepless nights at bay, set it up properly, and then don't worry about it. And then, maintain it. Don't just set it and forget it. You have to maintain.
Yeah, I think that makes sense that most people don't think about it until it happens to them.
All the time. And like I said, at that point, there's the panic, there's the worry. Had you just set it up properly, then that's a different phone call, which is, hey, I'm being sued. What's at risk versus everything's at risk.
Right. And so you mentioned set it up and then maintain it. What does the maintenance look like?
So there's a lot of different types of maintenance depending on structure. So typically when you're doing these type of investments and holding these type of assets, if you're segregating them, you have to maintain books separately. You can't commingle in between things. You can't commingle between yourself. And that's where we'll see a lot of the piercing of the corporate veil take place, where they're piercing through the protective structure and coming after you personally. So what are ways that would allow that to happen? One is, of course, commingling. That would be a perfect example of I use my business bank account as though it's my own bank account. So I go out, I buy my dinner with it. I'm constantly spending money on things that have no relation to the business. If I am the plaintiff in a case and I'm seeing this in discovery, I'm going to make a statement that, hey, this isn't a legitimate entity. This is him. He just wrapped it in an LLC thinking that, oh, okay, I'm protected. There are lots of problems where people will create an entity, an LLC, an S Corp, a C Corp, and they think that, hey, I'm protected now. But the courts don't really see it that way. If you're not actually operating it in a manner that would suggest this is a legitimate business, they're going to say it's not a legitimate business and it's really just you. And so what makes a business legitimate? Well, when you set it up, have you written out either bylaws or operating agreements? Have you stated the purpose of the company, how it functions? Have you held meetings or done written consents on actions? These are the type of things that you have to make sure you're doing. Did I lose you?
I'm here.
Oh, okay, perfect. Another thing to add to it is we mentioned briefly the accounting. Each property needs its own separate books. Doesn't mean you have to have different huge amount of records, but if you have separate properties, keep separate books for them. Little things like that. That's what protects you in the long run.
Yeah, absolutely. That makes sense to have all those things in order. And I'm assuming that's when it's the most helpful to outsource, because I know, like, as an entrepreneur, it can be overwhelming to be like, oh, I'm doing all this real estate stuff and I have to, keep track of all these other things on top of it.
Absolutely. I get overwhelmed with things, even when I'm looking at my own type of stuff. Like, I really understand the structure of it. And so when I'm looking for properties, if my wife and I are interested in doing something like a fix or flip, my problem is I go straight to the legal aspects of it. And I don't care what the house looks like how much money can I make from this house? No, I'm looking at, well, if I get sued, what's going to happen? And so that's the thing. I find that we are very good at what we're very good at, but the other things we normally need help with. And it's okay to ask for help. It's okay to go pay consultants, because ultimately that's what protects you. And people say all the time, oh, it's too expensive to do it the right way. Well, it's not, though, because you could spend a whole year doing something and then something goes wrong and you lose everything, your whole year, versus having just done it originally, paid a fraction of what you could actually lose, and then you don't have to worry the whole time. I've seen people get suits thrown at them. It is not something where you read, you go to bed, and you're like, oh, okay, I'll deal with it. Normally, it's several months of stress, worry, wishing you would have done something different the whole time. And it's not worth it to me. I'm getting too old in life to want to spend all my time worrying that what I built is at risk. And so nowadays, I'm very adamant about it. Set it up right and let someone else worry if they can get to you, because you're going to know whether or not they can when they come after you.
Amazing. I think that is super good advice. So thank you for sharing.
Definitely.
Well, before we wrap up here, if someone wants to reach out, connect, and learn more, where can people find you and connect with you?
Definitely. The company is Meridian Legal Advisors. You can find us on the web at meridianlg.com, and that's MERIDIANLG.com. I am on Facebook. I'm on LinkedIn. I'm on Instagram. I think I got TikTok out there as well. I'm not doing the dances yet, but you never know. And give us a call. Give us an email. We're always happy to talk to anybody about what's going on and how we can help them.
Perfect. Well, I appreciate your time and your story. Thank you for being here.
It was a pleasure, Michelle. Thank you.
Of course. And for those tuning into the show, if you got value, make sure you have subscribed. We've got more conversations with operators like Matt who are building real businesses, and we'll see you on our next episode.
Thanks for joining us for today's Real Estate Pros Show. You can learn more about the amazing benefits of the Investor Fuel Mastermind community, including surrounding yourself with hundreds of other rock stars, 100% financing for your deals, and members-only discounts from vendors you're likely already using that, as a member of Investor Fuel, will save you more than the cost of your membership. Visit investorfuel.com to learn more. If you're interested in joining us as a guest of this show, please visit investorfuel.com/pros to apply. You can also check the show notes for access to free resources, how to get access to world-class lead generation, and much more. Don't forget to subscribe so you never miss another episode. Have a great day. We'll see you on the next show.